Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin has put in a higher high above 38.5k, which is a level that suppressed us on the price chart for weeks. We predicted the importance of this move yesterday, just a few hours before it occurred. It did occur, it came straight through, and now I'm giving you my update on the situation. Do I think that right now is the time to Bitcoin? Personally, not yet. I think we need to break 40k. I'm going to give you all of my reasoning around that. I'm going to tell you if it's going to happen and what it will look like if it does happen. Ladies and gentlemen, very important video. Let's get into it. Okay guys, I'm not going to waste your time today. Whenever something happens on Bitcoin, YouTubers like to make 30 to 40 minute videos discussing it. It's absolutely pointless. It's not necessary. I can discuss all the nuances tomorrow. Right now, I want to get out the actual events, what's occurred and how you should be reacting. Simple as that. 10, 15 minutes, that should be all it takes. What has occurred on Bitcoin? Well, as predicted yesterday in our video, Bitcoin has moved upwards. We literally posted a video yesterday. Buckle up, this moment will decide everything. In the video, we discussed the fact that within 24 hours, Bitcoin will be moving probably to the upside given the structure, although we weren't really certain on that. We have moved to the upside now. We've seen a break of the highs that we were testing at 38.5k. You can see what I'm circling right now. We had 2 or 3 separate occasions where we tested 38.5k for resistance. It was very strong resistance. We rejected both times. People were fearing a double top formation. I wasn't so sure because I saw Bitcoin edging upwards yesterday towards it again. I said we're probably going to come in for another retest, and depending on that retest could determine the structure of Bitcoin in the following days or weeks, and it's done that quite well. We've broken that high, and so this upwards trend on Bitcoin, right, that we've seen since the September 11th bottom has actually continued, right? We've seen higher lows, okay, and higher highs this entire time. And with this recent high we've just put in, we haven't actually put it in yet, we're in the progress of putting in a new high, above 38.5k, this upwards trend is still very much intact, it's still very much going. I can't say it's strong yet, and I'm going to look into the nuances of that in a second, but I can say it's certainly still there. Now, so we've broken the high, that's good news, of course, but we haven't broken above the major resistance zone yet. Okay, so this is where we get into the nuances. This is where we get into, what I think you should be doing, how I think you should be reacting. For the conservative trader, for the long-term buyer on Bitcoin, for someone who's not interested in taking risk, for someone who's just interested in, okay, when this level breaks, I'll buy here. They're interested in purely macro levels, okay? For the same reason I said you shouldn't be buying until we break 32k when we were down here at 28. It's the same reason I'm going to say you shouldn't be buying here until we break 40k, okay, to that specific person, okay? And the reason I'll say that is this. The actual macro level, the actual level that we're trying to test here on Bitcoin, we've been trying to test for the last 3 weeks, is between 37.5 to 40k. That's the actual level. How do I identify that? I can identify that very easily looking at the volume profile, right? The volume profile, look at the right-hand side of the screen. You can see very clearly that the initial spike in the volume profile, in fact, we'll move across here so you can see it a bit more clearly. The initial spike in the volume profile starts at around 37.5 to 38k, and it ends at around 40k. This very easily tells us, very clearly and concisely tells us that 40k really is the top of this major resistance box, and this major resistance box stems between around 37.5 to 40k. Therefore, under the simple TA, technical analysis, trading 101 premise of don't buy into resistance, you shouldn't really be buying until we're above 40k, or until we've flipped 40k more likely, right? That's the simple basic analysis, and that's really simple and that's really straightforward, and honestly you can get very far just by following something like that. So realistically, yes, we're still at very strong resistance. I'm also not very comfortable about Bitcoin right now, as of what I'm making this video right now. There is a little bit of nuance around it, but I will look into that in a second. Right now I just want to get the facts on the table. The fact is, well, we're still at macro resistance, and we're still actually testing this ascending channel formation that stems back all the way from August 2022. We need to break that, guys. We can't be buying head on into an ascending channel formation that's suppressed Bitcoin's price from resistance for over, 16 months? We can't be buying into that. That's just not a logical thing to do. Once we flip that, okay, cool, then we can be looking to jump into Bitcoin, especially once we get above 40k. We've flipped everything at that point. All of the bear cases are gone at that point. That's a great time to be getting into Bitcoin, of course, in my opinion. But right now, we're still testing it, right? But yeah, we could be edging slightly above it, depending how you draw it. We're still testing it. There is promising stuff going on, of course, like breaking above 38.5k. That in itself is promising because that's placing a higher high, saying the uptrend is still intact. That's for sure promising. And of course, There have been things like this 15-minute chart triangular formation forming right above this ascending wedge formation, the 4-hourly chart. We did break that to the upside briefly, but that just ended up in a rejection just before I started filming here. So that's not very, reassuring. And in fact, if we're actually looking at what this formation is turning into, it's turning into some sort of head and shoulders formation. That's not very good at all. So I'm not going to sit here and say that Bitcoin is showing massive displays of strength right now. I certainly think it is showing some degree of strength. Okay, if we look at the 4-hourly chart, for example, we delete that little triangle from what we just looked at. We look at the 4-hourly chart. We had this ascending wedge formation, okay? We broke above it. We flipped it for support. We're testing support right now. We could move upside from there. That's certainly a plausible scenario, but it's only confirmed once we actually confirm it. As of right now, it's not confirmed yet. You can't sit here and say, oh yeah, the resistance support flip's gone extraordinarily well when we've come down, we've tested it once, twice, and we're coming down for a third retest. That's actually more of a display of weakness, if anything else. So I'm not very confident in that. And when I look at things like the daily chart volume, I look at the fact that this volume has been descending quite consistently, okay, on the daily chart. You can see this volume descending as the price has been moving upwards for upwards of a month now. That's not particularly reassuring either. I look at things like daily chart RSI, I look at the fact that we've broken down below this ascending yellow support line. That's not particularly reassuring either. I'm not trying to sit here and say that everything's bearish, because it's not. We've literally just put in a new higher high. We've literally gotten above an ascending wedge formation that was meant to break to the downside as per TA. We've done very good things. We've made some very good progress. But I'm also not going to sit here and feed into the hopium that everything's all good now because we moved upwards 300 USD. That's simply not how it works, okay? But this breakout, as we predicted yesterday, was valid. It was a valid breakout. We saw a volume surge. If we go to short-term volume, Binance chart is not the best example of this given what's going on with the exchange in recent days, but we did have a very, very clear look at the bottom of the screen. Volume spike upon the breakout, another volume spike here upon the second breakout. It's very clear that these lines are working. It's very clear that these lines are valid. It's just the fact that people aren't really that confident buying into this breakout yet. People want to see what I've highlighted in this video. They want to see a break above this ascending channel formation. They want to see a break above 40K, and I simply don't blame them, because that's what I want to see as well. That's my position, okay? Look, I've already bought Bitcoin down at 17, 18K, 19K. I've got my average price down there, 18 to 19K on Bitcoin, or well, I suppose with my 32K buy, it would be slightly higher now, around 20 to 21K. But the point is, I've been buying Bitcoin since almost a year ago. I've got no desire to rush into Bitcoin to get it at 38.5 instead of 40. I'll happily wait for 40. It doesn't bother me. It's a 5% gain. It doesn't mean anything to me at all. So the fact of the matter is, I don't really understand. I'm not going to say you can't do it, because I'm not here to give you financial advice. I'm here to give you my opinion on charts. I'm saying that from a rational perspective, from a 101 TA perspective, it seems logical to me to wait for a clear breakout of the one bearish structure that actually remains on Bitcoin, this ascending channel formation, and a clear breakout of something like 40K. Because once we get above 40K, if we look at the volume profile, once we get above 40K, where are we going to? We're going straight to 48, guys. And I say that and people laugh, oh, how can you say that? That's a big gain. That's a big thing to predict. It's not actually that big. If we look at where 40K is on the volume profile, once we get above that, there's no historical spike in trading volume until 48K. If we get above 40K, we're going straight to 48K, guys. It's not a big deal. We're going straight to 48K. That's just what the TA suggests. And that could change, obviously, but that's the reality. The fact of the matter is, we're not above 40K yet. The fact of the matter is, we've got Bitcoin at resistance still. Yeah, short term, I guess it's doing promising things. We've flipped this wedge formation, but it's not good enough yet. Okay, we need to wait a little bit more. Perhaps by tomorrow we'll have some more clarity. We've got things like total cryptocurrency market cap. Still hasn't broken out yet. It's still got its major resistance line it's been facing since the 16th, very much being tested for resistance and unable to break out above that. Ethereum, we've got this line on Ethereum, this red line on the screen on Ethereum at 2,138, so 2,100 USD. That was the dividing line in the bear market and bull market. Between the bear market and bull market, we saw the entirety of the bull market above that line, the entirety of the bear market below that line. We've tested that line back here in April, and we're unable to get above it right now. We're still testing it. We have not gotten above it yet. Once Bitcoin gets above 48K, guess where Ethereum's going? It's going above that level. So I think, I don't want to give you the impression that I'm sitting here and saying Bitcoin's trash, is in a terrible position. It's certainly made progress. It's certainly up higher than it was yesterday, as predicted, and it's certainly in a better position than it was yesterday. But this breakout alone, this small little move to the upside, just 200 USD above where we were the other day, is not enough to constitute this massive surge of bullishness that perhaps some people are having right now. I'm simply not seeing that justified. I want to be seeing 40k flipped, and that's the simple reality. That's what I want to be seeing, and perhaps that's a slight deviation from what I said yesterday. But overall, I don't think it is. I think I've said over and over again on the macro, 37 to 40k, 37.5 to 40k is the major resistance zone. That's what I've said over and over again. And I've always had the premise, I've always had the foundation to all of my macro buys that we cannot be buying at macro resistance. We still are at macro resistance right now. Perhaps that will change soon. And perhaps in the next 24 hours, we'll see some clarity in that situation. But right now, we do not have that clarity. We want to be seeing 40k broken. That's my opinion. Obviously, there's people right now who are rushing into buys. That's fine. I can understand the logic behind that. That's just not personally how I trade. That's not my personal investing style. So, I think my opinions are pretty clear right now. I'm not going to sit here and say Bitcoin's in a terrible position, because it's not. It's certainly in a better position than it was a few days ago, and it's certainly making progress to the upside. And I can certainly see a scenario in which this breakout progresses to the upside quite rapidly. I can see that occurring. It just hasn't occurred yet. And that's the reality of the charts right now. So guys, if you appreciate my analysis, if you appreciate keeping me short and concise today, because I think that's what it's all about here, getting the information out, leave a like, subscribe, and comment. Stay tuned for my update on this situation tomorrow. And in the meantime, check out the Bingx and Bitget exchange to get a good exchange to make those Bitcoin buys on, to trade on, futures, spot, whatever it may be. Bingx is global non-KYC. Bitget is global KYC minus for USA. You can sign up from anywhere in the world on Bitget with just an email address and a password. And both these exchanges have extremely low trading fees. They've never been hacked. They have protection funds in case they are hacked to get you reimbursed in your funds that you might have lost in a hack. Extremely good stuff there. My referral link is down below for a 15% trading fee discount. My Telegram VIP group is of course on Telegram. We trade altcoins in there sub-daily. I post altcoin trading plans, giving you stop losses, entry signals, targets, whatever you may need to enter an altcoin. You chart them up, you trade them as per the plan. If you want to do so, of course. Some people just use them to get a good bird's eye view of what's going on in the altcoin market. So check it all out there. It's on Telegram. We've got the PDF of all of our trading results, the wins, the losses, everything. It's all transparently put in there. 80% win rate so far. 14-day free trials available there as well. And finally, if you want to learn how to trade, the place you can do that is the Crypto Academy Become a Trader 10-unit course. Everything about this course is on the website. It's a university-style course. Slideshows, videos, worksheets, trading diaries. It gives you everything you need, in my opinion, that you need to learn how to become a proficient trader. And this is the perfect time to take a course like this just before the bull market. Take advantage of the bull market. Get on this course now. Website's below. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you tomorrow.